Hello, I'm Joseph Kasser, and welcome to this podcast where the AI team does a deep dive into some application of systems thinking.
So picture this. It's 4:3 p.m. on a Friday. You're just staring at your screen, and that admin tax is coming due.
The Friday afternoon scramble, we've all been there.
We've all been there. You have to send this like high-stakes email to a client. You got to update the CRM with all the details from your last call.
So your boss doesn't get on your case.
Exactly. And then you have to schedule a follow-up meeting for next Tuesday across, 3 different time zones?
Yeah.
It's a nightmare.
Right.
And the modern workflow for that is, great, I'll use ChatGPT to write the email. And, it does a pretty decent job.
It really does.
But here's the thing. You still have to copy it, paste it, format it, hit send, then log into Salesforce, click all the buttons, open your calendar, do the time zone math.
Yeah.
You're still doing all the legwork.
The AI is just generating text. It's a word generator, not a work doer.
That's the perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
It's a passive tool just waiting for you to drive it.
Yeah.
But what if the AI didn't just write the draft? What if it actually sent the email and then it went into your CRM, updated the record, and put the meeting on your calendar? All without you lifting a finger.
And that is the trillion-dollar question. That's the massive shift we're unpacking today. We're moving from an AI that just talks to an AI that actually acts.
And to help us wrap our heads around all this, we're doing a deep dive on a book that, I got to be honest, made me do a double take when I first saw the cover.
Oh, yeah.
We're reviewing Agentic AI for Dummies by Pam Baker.
Yeah.
And seeing that, that iconic yellow and black for Dummies brand on a topic this cutting edge, it felt a little ironic.
I could see that.
I usually associate that cover with, like, Windows 95 or maybe learning guitar.
It creates a fascinating contrast, doesn't it? But if you think about it, it actually makes perfect sense. The whole point of the For Dummies brand was always to demystify really complex topics for a mass audience.
That's true.
And right now, in 2026, there is probably nothing more complex or more misunderstood than agentic AI. This book is trying to bridge a huge gap in public understanding before this tech completely reshapes everything.
Okay, so let's get into the review. What's the headline here? I feel like everyone just got used to generative AI. ChatGPT, Claude, all the chatbots. Now there's agentic AI. Is this just a new marketing buzzword?
Not at all. It's a fundamental structural shift in how the software actually operates. The core thesis that Pam Baker puts forward is all about the difference between passive and active systems.
Yeah.
Gen AI, as we know it, is reactive. It waits for you. Agentic AI is... well, it's autonomous. It's goal-oriented.
The book had this really sticky analogy for this that I thought was perfect. It compares Gen AI to a calculator.
Right. And think about a calculator. It's an incredibly powerful tool, right? It can do math way faster than you can. But it just sits there.
It does nothing until you push a button.
Exactly. You punch in the numbers, it gives you a result, you prompt, it answers, then it stops. It has zero initiative.
So agentic AI is what?
Be accountant.
A junior assistant is the comparison Baker uses, and I think it's the most accurate one. You don't tell a junior assistant every single keystroke to make.
Right. You don't say press H, then I, then comma.
No, you give them a goal. You say, hey, plan a business trip to New York for 3 days, keep it under the budget, and make sure I have an hour between meetings.
And the assistant figures out the how.
Precisely. The assistant or the agentic AI figures out the steps. It checks flight prices. It looks at your calendar. It books a hotel near the meetings. It executes. It's the difference between a tool you hold in your hand and a tool you send off to do work for you.
That sounds incredible, basically cloning yourself for all the grunt work.
Yeah.
But it's that execution part that gets me. It implies a kind of reasoning that I'm not sure computers actually have. And before we get into the scary stuff, I want to touch on something the book mentioned about how these agents think. It brought up a study from Apple, The Illusion of Thinking. Yes, and this is crucial context because we have this tendency to anthropomorphize these things.
For sure.
The book references this 2025 study from Apple's research team that basically threw a bucket of cold water on the idea that AI is waking up or becoming sentient.
Okay.
The study found that large language models, the brains behind all this, don't truly reason like we do. They're just performing extremely advanced pattern matching.
So when the agent is planning my trip to New York, it's not actually thinking, oh, he likes window seats because the view is nice.
Oh, it creates the illusion of thinking. It simulates reasoning by using memory, planning tools, and self-correction to get to the goal. It's not conscious. It doesn't care about your window seat.
But it is persistent.
Very persistent. It has a logical loop. It tries something, checks if it worked against your criteria, and if not, it tries something else.
It's like a really, really stubborn pattern-matching machine.
That's a good way to put it. It's probabilistic, not thoughtful. But for you, the end user, if the trip gets booked correctly, does the difference even matter?
I guess that's the pragmatism the For Dummies series is known for. Okay, so let's look under the hood. The book breaks down the tech stack, the parts that make an agent agentic. Because if it's not just a chatbot, it must have extra components, right?
It does. Baker points to a few key building blocks. The first is memory, and not just, the chat history in your current window that vanishes when you close the tab.
You mean long-term memory?
Exactly. An agent needs to remember your preferences across different sessions to actually be useful over time.
Right, so it remembers, I hate red-eye flights without me having to say it every single time.
If it asks you every time, it's not an assistant, it's just a form. Then you have the second block, tools. This is the big one. An agent needs hands.
Hands.
Metaphorical hands. In the digital world, hands are API's application programming interface.
The bridges that let software talk to other software.
Right. The ability to call a flight booking engine or query a database or send a Slack message. Without tools, an AI is just a brain in a jar. It can think great thoughts, but it can't affect the world.
With tools, it can click the buttons for you.
It can click the buttons. And the third block is planning. This is about breaking down tasks. If you tell a chatbot, plan a trip, it just writes you a list. If you tell an agent, plan a trip, it has to create a sequence. First, check dates, then check flights, then compare prices, then book. That sequential logic is what separates it from a simple text generator.
This brings up a really interesting point the book makes about the skills that we need. For the last few years, all we've heard about is prompt engineering.
Oh, yeah,
Learning the magic words to get a good poem or whatever. But Baker argues that's already becoming outdated. She introduces this idea of context engineering.
I found this section particularly insightful because it shifts the human's role. Prompt engineering it's transactional. It's about the now. You give instructions for a single task.
And context engineering is managerial.
It is. It's about building the environment for the agent to work in.
Can you unpack that a little? What does building the environment actually look like?
Think about it like hiring that junior assistant again. You don't just hand them a sticky note and walk away. You give them a handbook. You explain the company's values. You set boundaries. Don't spend more than $500 without asking me. Or always prioritize this client.
You're setting the rules of the game.
You're defining the rules, the boundaries, the resources the agent can use over weeks or months. You're shifting from being a writer to being a manager.
So we're all getting promoted to middle management, whether we like it or not.
In a way, yes, which brings its own challenges. But before we get to the workplace, we have to talk about how this changes the internet itself.
Oh, definitely. There was a section on e-commerce and the death of apps that sounded like it changes, everything.
It's a massive disruption. E-commerce stands for agent commerce. The book predicts this is going to surpass e-commerce in volume.
So e-commerce isn't me buying things. It's my bot buying things for me.
Correct. For routine purchases, the prediction is humans will just stop browsing websites. You won't go to Amazon, scroll through pages, look at photos, read reviews.
So what do?
You tell your personal agent, I need a pair of running shoes, size 10, good arch support, under $150, delivered by Friday. And then your agent goes out and negotiates directly with the brand's sales agent.
A robot versus robot negotiation.
Essentially. And think about what that does to marketing. We spend billions on SEO, search engine optimization, making websites catchy for humans.
Yeah.
Colorful buttons, emotional imagery.
An agent doesn't care about any of that.
Not at all. It cares about raw data, specs, price, delivery speed.
So SEO becomes agent optimization.
Exactly. Websites will need to be machine readable, not just people readable. The internet becomes a giant database query.
That feels like the internet becomes a lot drier. Just databases talking to each other.
On the back end, yes. But for the user, it simplifies life. And that leads to that death of apps idea.
Yeah, that was a bold claim. I mean, we live in apps.
But think about why we live in apps. It's because our data is all siloed. You have a travel app, a banking app, a calendar app.
Right. To plan that trip we mentioned, I have to open 3 different apps and copy-paste info between them. It's so inefficient.
It is. Agentic AI creates a new interface layer on top of all that. You just tell the agent your goal, and it works with those services in the background through their APIs.
So I might never even see the United Airlines interface.
You just see your agent saying, flight booked. The user interface becomes the agent.
The agent is the browser, the app store, and the OS, all rolled into one. The super app.
That's the future Baker is describing. It just collapses the distance between I want this and it's done.
Okay, let's pivot to what this all means for our jobs. Because if my agent is booking my flights and answering my emails and researching data, what am I doing? The book argues this is a promotion, not a replacement. But I'm always a little skeptical of that framing.
It does try to frame it positively. The argument is we move from doing the task to managing the agent that's doing the task. It predicts new roles will emerge, like agentic AI architect or AI ethics auditor.
Human AI interface designer was one I saw.
Right. But there's a flip side to this promotion that the book brings up, a huge risk called de-skilling. They use the elevator analogy.
Oh, I like this one. It's simple, but kind of frightening.
It is. The logic goes, if you take the elevator every single day, your leg muscles atrophy. You can still walk, but you can't climb 5 flights of stairs anymore.
Okay.
So if we let agents do all the drafting, all the coding, all the logistical planning, humans lose baseline competence.
That's the worry. If I haven't written a polite, high-stakes email in 5 years because my bot does it, can I still write a sensitive one when it really, really matters? Or have I forgotten the nuance?
That is the danger. If the system breaks or if the agent makes a subtle mistake, do you still have the skills to even notice it and fix
You
it?
can't check the calculator's work if you don't know how the math works.
Exactly.
So how do we avoid becoming useless observers of our own work?
The book suggests the centaur model is the best path forward.
Center half human, half horse, in this case half human, half AI.
Ideally, yes. The human maintains the strategic oversight and the baseline skills to intervene, while the AI handles the scale and the speed. It's augmentation, not total abdication. You have to be able to take the wheel if the autopilot fails.
But relying on these things brings us to the risks chapter. And honestly, this is where the For Dummies title felt a little deceptive, because these risks are serious. We all know about hallucinations when ChatGPT makes up a fake court case or something. But the book talks about hallucinations with hands.
That's a phrase that sticks with you. With Gen AI, a hallucination is just bad text. It's embarrassing, maybe misleading.
But with Agentic AI,
the system can act. If an agent hallucinates a regulation that doesn't exist, it might delete a compliance database. If it hallucinates a price drop, it might buy $50,000 of the wrong inventory.
the stakes are infinitely higher when the AI can click buy or delete.
Absolutely. A chatbot lying is a nuisance. An agent acting on a lie is a massive liability. And then there's the flash crash scenario.
Like in the stock market.
Yes. Imagine thousands of autonomous trading agents. They aren't colluding, they aren't talking to each other, but they're all trained on similar data. They share the same instincts.
So if a certain pattern appears, like a tiny dip in a stock,
They might all decide to sell at the exact same millisecond.
the market just tanks instantly.
And because they operate at machine speed, the damage is done before a human can even hit a kill switch. We saw hints of this with algorithmic trading, but this applies that risk to everything. Supply chains, energy grids, you name it.
It seems like auditing these things is going to be a complete nightmare. The book brought up this philosophical puzzle I haven't thought about since college. The ship of Theseus.
I was glad they included that because it gets at the core problem of accountability.
Right. The puzzle is, if you replace every plank of a ship one by one over time, is it still the same ship? How does that apply to a bot?
Well, an agent learns,
Well-
it updates its memory, it changes its internal weights based on feedback. So the agent you deploy on Monday might be fundamentally different by Friday because of what it learned.
So if it messes up on Friday, you can't necessarily replicate the error using the Monday version.
Exactly. It's a moving target. How do you hold it accountable? How do you audit a system that is constantly rewriting itself? It challenges our entire framework for compliance and liability.
That's heavy. It makes you realize that managing these things isn't just giving them a to-do list, it's constant vigilance.
It's a whole new type of literacy.
So we've covered the tech, the commerce, the risks. As we wrap up this deep dive into agentic AI, for dummies, what's the verdict? Is this a utopia where I'm sipping pina coladas while my agent works, or is it Skynet?
The book concludes that it's neither. It's a complex mix. It portrays a future that isn't some sci-fi fantasy. It's pragmatic. It's coming. The verdict is that understanding the how and why is the only way to navigate the transition. Ignoring it is not an option.
It really feels like a guide for people who want to stay in the driver's seat.
And it leaves us with this very provocative thought on the idea of agency itself. If machines can set goals, plan, and execute them better and faster than us, we're forced to ask, what is the specific value of human intention?
Oof, that's a big one to chew on. What is left for us when the doing is done by the machines?
The why. The machines are great at the how, but the why, the values, the ethics, the desire to go to New York in the first place, the vision for why a company even exists, that remains human.
I love that. The why is our job. The how is theirs.
Precisely, and we have to get really, really good at articulating that why.
Well, if you want to be the manager, not the one being managed by this new tech, Agentic AI for Dummies by Pam Baker is definitely worth a look. It's a wild ride. Thanks for unpacking it all with me.
My pleasure.
And to everyone listening, keep asking why. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.
I hope you enjoyed today's deep dive. Why not take a moment and join the discussion in the LinkedIn group Tackling Complex Problems. Take care.